Hello, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
We're Untitled Network. This is episode 9 of the Sopranos reviews, season 1. And, whew, man, okay, this one is called Boca. And for good, this one had a lot of crap.
There was a lot going on in this episode. Absolutely.
God, like, where do we even begin? I guess probably the big one. Ugh, well, great. Soccer Coach Hauser. Okay, so this was a this
Everybody's kids go to that Catholic school.
everybody.
Basically.
Yeah.
Everybody in the show that has kids, they all go to the Catholic school. There's a soccer team for the girls, and everybody was out watching the game. Everybody loves the coach. Well, you notice in the game that one of the girls is just kind of not with it.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What's going on?" Blah 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 blah. They win that game, and then, long story short, the coach is trying to leave town. He gets a better job.
Yep.
But you know, the fathers want him to stay because their kids are doing so well, and they, give the coach credit for that. And then it turns out he's sleeping with the girl that wasn't doing so hot during the game, or he did several times.
And she had attempted suicide. It's kind of where this whole thing came up. She had cut her wrist, and from there they find out that sleeping with one of the players, and from there it just like they're kind of struggling to figure out, oh, are we going to kill this? Yeah, are we going to kill this guy? Are we going to turn him into the cops? And it like turning him into the cops wasn't even an option. He was going to die.
Yeah, he was going to die. They had came to that conclusion. He was going to die. They were going to do after once they figured out what was going on, and then when Artie said something to his wife, of course she was all against it, and claimed that he was just thinking of himself and his feelings. He didn't consider, anyone else's. Which, in my eyes, he was, considering other people's feelings. I get that when he talked to Tony, he's like, well, what about his daughter? And well, how's this going to affect his wife? And blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, I feel like it would have been the same as calling the cops. Still going to affect them in a way. I don't know. I was very dissatisfied with Tony choosing to call the cops and not do something about this guy.
I think the fact
I was really dissatisfied with that.
Yeah, they kind of paint it like he made the right decision. And I mean, the dude was still on the news. He
was still on the news, and everybody knew what he did. But I mean, at the same time, it's like you said, he's not gonna get a lot of jail time. Not gonna be severely punished. And I think it was hard on Tony to make that decision because Tony doesn't necessarily want to be the bad guy like that. He don't. And so there's a lot of pressure in the mob to be that guy. And so that's why he showed up drunk and had taken his pills, and he had to do all that just to deal with the fact that he chose not to hurt someone by what other people mafia are going to think.
I think if he ends up getting a very light sentence, or serves little if any time, I think they'll be waiting on him out.
They might be.
That seems
I could see them running him out of town, but
yeah,
I mean, he was leaving town anyway, but now that's been completely ruined because another school offered him more money. That's the only reason
they were worried. One of the pros to killing him would have been, he's not going to do this to somebody else.
Victim. Yeah, absolutely, because it's typically not just one victim.
So I don't know. That whole thing, it played out it was very conflicted. You know, even at the end, you know, you're kind of like, eh. Probably the big subplot here. Find out that Junior likes going down on his girlfriend, and it gets around to everybody.
Yes, she gossips to the other girls, and then of course, you know, it ends up back to Carmela, and then Carmela ends up telling Tony, and because he insulted Tony at the golf course, he insulted him back because a lot of older men like that think that is a very submissive thing for a man to do, and it's not something doing dumb, but it's true. Some men do think that. That's like some toxic masculinity right there.
It's very interesting, despite the environment that I lived in growing up, and you know, the small town and blah blah blah, and there, you know, toxic masculinity was on every corner.
Right.
I never heard this until I saw this episode just a year and a half ago. And I never knew that was I feel like maybe I had heard some reference to it, maybe in like some rap lyrics or something, but I didn't know that was even with, you know, older people. That
right.
Was,
well, because now it's generally accepted. There's not
yeah,
not a lot of stigma that goes down to
yeah. So,
but like in this time, you know.
Yeah, you've got a lot of these guys who are holding on to very old traditions.
Right, and you gotta consider when this was made.
Yeah.
You know.
This was like 99, 2000,
right.
something like that. So.
Right, absolutely. And so, yeah, they're still holding on to that. And in their eyes, the performing oral sex on a woman, you might as well do it on a man too. Like, that's exactly how they phrased it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, you know, the women on here, like, I don't get that. You know,
yeah, I don't
like I really don't. I don't.
It's dumb.
That's a hell of a stretch. You just about, you know, hurt yourself stretching that hard.
Absolutely.
But anyway.
But he gets mad about it, and he takes it on his girlfriend and smashes a pie in her face. He doesn't want to physically hit her, and he says they're done, and he makes her leave, or he says don't be there in the morning. You know, which seriously, like, he told her don't run your mouth, but she had already done it. Like, yeah. I mean, it was one of those deals.
The oh God, I don't know. I feel like, do you think she would be like of the mindset that she would be pissed off enough to like go rat him out?
No, she loved him way too much, and it's older. You know, they're older couple in this time, and
I guess I've just got that mentality. Yeah, they had been together for, I think they said 16 years at that point. Thinking about that, you know, the Game of Thrones episode where, you know, Tyrion, you know, broke up with that girl and she ended up betraying him and sleeping with his dad.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck his dad.
Yeah.
But because he insulted Junior on the course, he told that other guy,
it's his Junior's right-hand guy who's with him.
Junior's right-hand man, but I don't remember. He told him that Tony was a psychiatrist. And then didn't know what all family secrets, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing, like, if they would just ask Tony about it, that he'd tell him, I'm not saying anything. And he hasn't. He literally talks about, like, his struggles with his family.
Yeah, because he knows, he's knowledgeable on what he can and can't say.
Yeah, that's why he told her last episode, hey, I'm about to go on vacation. When, you know.
And I mean, to be completely honest, like, he could probably tell her, hey, you know, there's a possibility I could be indicted. And there's nothing that could come of that. He's not giving her any specific crime details or anything, but he wants to keep that part of his life as far away from that office as possible.
Because here's the thing. that part of his life, it takes a toll on his family. But like, I think his family would be like, I think he'd still be having the same issues.
Yeah.
I think he'd still have the same issues, but not with the added stress of being in the mop business. So.
Oh, but I'm telling you, this show has been just so good. This has been one of my favorites just because of all the conflict and.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you notice that the feds even had somebody following Junior down in
Yes.
down in Boca? He was dancing with his girlfriend at like a nightclub, and
followed him down. That was the whole reason he even went down there, was to kind of try to lay low.
It looked like
but
one of
the fucking followed him, and so. I mean, we know the guy that was like on the wait staff was taking pictures. Do you think there's actually someone that's working with them that's in the feds? I think somebody's a rat. There's just so much detail that's known.
I can't answer that because I've seen the full. That's one thing, But okay.
Never mind.
No. But I mean, just watching it right now and putting aside everything that I know.
Yes, that's what I'm asking you to do.
It would not surprise me. I wouldn't have thought. I would have tried to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but I would be looking at like Christopher or somebody who's like really, really close to him, or like have some, like, Junior's not it.
Right, yeah.
But maybe that little weasel that follows Junior around all the time. I can see him, especially since he's like, oh, Tony's doing this and Tony's doing that, trying to throw him off his trail. That sounds very realistic.
Yeah, that does sound very realistic.
Damn, now I'm like, I'm coming up with all these like theories and crap. I've already seen the show. Yeah,
but that's the whole point. I wanted you to do that. So, okay. How bad does Artie's wife get on your nerves? Please tell me that she gets on your nerves as bad as mine.
He could show up next episode and be like, oh, she left me and moved off to Brazil.
And I would have cheered.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, it's okay.
Fucking cheered. Like, it would be different. Like, she wanted to call him selfish. It would be different if her concerns were genuine, but they're not. She's fucking jealous.
She was already like getting on your nerves a little bit, but when she came out to the whole Carmela thing and all that happened, like, you hated her ever since.
It's gotten worse since then because she just rides his ass so much. Leave that man alone.
Yeah, she calls him up at the bar. You need to be home helping me paint.
Because she doesn't want him associating with them. And I understand that to a point. Like, I get that. I've been that person before. But at the same time, she's so fucking jealous she didn't choose that lifestyle. It kind of ruins it.
Yeah. But you could understand it if it wasn't coming from jealousy.
Yes. So, if
it
wasn't coming from jealousy, like, I'd totally understand. But the fact that, she freaking sit there and told Carmela, well, I slept with your husband while y'all were broke up, basically was insinuating I could have had this life and not you. No.
You want to give ratings for this episode?
I'm gonna give this one a 9. Just because it had a lot of conflict.
Because of that level of stuff that was happening.
Yeah.
And the intensity and not knowing what was going to happen and all this stuff. And some kind of interesting things. I really like the little exchange between Tony and Carmela in bed whenever, like, Tony was trying to get the news out of her about what Junior did. All of that
was so cute.
Comes together.
I love watching them try to work on them.
Yeah.
It's great.
And this was a big one. Especially, she just, like, when he came in all, like, drunk on Prozac and alcohol, like, she just laid the pillow like, under him.
Happy trails.
Yeah.
Like, she knew. She's like, oh, mix this with alcohol? Happy trails, Tony.
You know what? I'm going to give this episode a 10.
Okay, that's a fair.
This is a 10 for me. This is one of the rare, perfect episodes, but again, it didn't have those big groundbreaking moments that make it a
really good episode. And and that says a lot because I knew when I saw the girl basically disassociating on the field, I knew what was up. Working in the field, we have to do child abuse training every year, required, and they teach you the signs. Her withdrawing and her not being excited, not focused on the game. I was like, okay, someone's abusing that girl. I don't know who it is. Probably the coach, because it's like that. You hear stories like that all the time.
We talked about this before, I think, early in the episodes, or maybe it was another show, but I wonder if they had, like, if they consulted, like, psychology experts and stuff. To get everything right.
Right. That was something they did get right. I mean, that's, yeah. So, you have to do your research to get it right, period.
It just makes me wonder
I don't know if they actually called in experts, but you can simply research that online and find that out.
Okay. Oh, yeah. This was a really good episode. Super fun. Whew. Well, here we go. We're just going on with it. Yep. All right. Well, we'll be back for the next one. I think episode 10 is next.
Yep.
Whew. We're getting through them.
We are.
We'll see y'all next time. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
We are Untitled Nerd Network.